Now on the beat, we turn to a man so self-possessed, so confident, and so important, he does not dress up to be on TV. Campaign guru James Carville, veteran of presidential campaigns, Bill Clinton's lead strategist and a friend of the beat. Good to see you, sir.
Good. People wouldn't recognize me in the suit, Ari. They wouldn't know what they were looking at.
I think that's fair. I'm going to get right to it. You have lived through so many pitched battles. There was a time when even when Democrats did want to do good, big things for the middle class with taxes, they would minimize it. They would claim otherwise. They would have all sorts of word salad about it. Interesting to see President Biden out here with George Stephanopoulos being clear, and we're up against major inequality. Take a look.
Anybody making more than $400,000 will see a small to a significant tax increase. If you make less than $400,000, you won't see one single penny in additional federal tax.
How are you going to get a Republican vote for a tax increase?
Oh, I may not get but I'll get the Democratic votes for a tax increase.
What does it mean for Americans and for politics of the Biden administration that he's just coming right out with it? If you make over $400K, you can afford it. You're going to pay a little more. It's worth it.
What the last year has taught us is that people that make $400,000 or more a year have done really well. The high-end real estate market has done really well. The stock market has done really well. They have adapted really well. The people that make under $400,000, not very good at all. And you're just going to look awfully selfish pitching a fit over people who have prospered during a time of just horror in the country. So I think he is on firm political ground. It only polls like 78%. And I don't know what percent of the taxpayers in this country make $400,000 or more a year, but it is not very many. And those that do have had a pretty good year since last March. No one else, everyone else has had just an awful year. So I don't see much of a political downside on this at all. I really don't.
You helped create the modern political juggernaut of Bill Clinton, among others. He said the era of big government is over. At this moment, with this pandemic and this economic inequality, is that kind of talk over?
So we live in real time in politics. The Clinton economic plan, which causation, correlation, you can argue, but you can't argue correlation after that. We had the greatest economic boom we had in this country since World War II. The Obama health care plan in 2009 expanded health care more than any program that was started since Medicare. Both were decided by one vote, and both from the same state, Nebraska. So I hear these pontificating op-ed writers saying, if only we would have gone big, if only we would have done that, if only people in politics live in a different world. We're not op-ed writers. We don't get to bloviate without history intervening. So go to Nebraska.
Get it out. Get it out, James.
Get it out, okay? And I think now the basic argument that a progressive income tax is good and we should enforce it, the very thing, people are saying, yeah, you know what, that is a good idea. And I think people have come around to that. And I think that the current times and the pandemic have really opened a lot of people's eyes in just the economic injustice and inequality that lives in this country. And I think there are a lot of wealthy people that I hear say, we got to do something about this inequality, because if we don't pay more in taxes, it's not going to end well. It's going to end very poorly. So we live in a different time than 1993 or 2009. But I hear so much revisionist history that I just like, oh, come on, man, where were you? Were you sitting there when we were sitting with President Clinton waiting to hear from Senator Bob Kerrey, where the whole thing hung in the balance, or where President Obama and his people were negotiating night and day with Senator Nelson from Nebraska? I mean, that's what this was down to. And you can't learn from history if you make history up. You have to understand what it is. And I think we are in a moment where people say, yeah, this really makes sense. And I think that President Biden is doing a really smart thing. He's really engaging the country where it is, as our friend Tom Etzel said in the New York Times this morning. He's really talking to the economic hurt that people have in this country, and hopefully they'll continue to respond favorably to that.
James, now you're quoting a New York Times op-ed. 2 minutes ago, you had no use for op-eds.
Nothing. You know what? I'm a good liberal. Nothing is all bad. Nothing is all good. I mean, as long as Tom Edsall's writing, I'm going to listen to it. But it is that the times are changing, and they're changing very fast. And in some ways, I'm hopeful. It's hard to see it now, but I hope they're changing for the better.
Yeah. Well, let's go to Mitch McConnell, who was given off on this GOP obstruction filibuster tactics. He was giving off his Cardi B vibes and saying, it's not a threat, it's a warning, but I'm going to scorch the place. Take a look.
Nobody serving in this chamber can even begin to imagine what a completely scorched earth Senate would look like. Everything the Republican Senate did to President Obama would be child's play compared to the disaster that Democrats would create for their own priorities if they break the Senate.
Final question, James. How do you take the threat?
So if you listen to what he said, if you dare do this, we get in, and we're going to do 5 highly unpopular things. And look at the things that he laid out, and I don't think a single one of them polled 30%. And so the country is going to be held hostage at a time of maximum need, in a time when we really need to get relief, and we really need to do things to help ordinary people, to say, if you dare do this, we're going to blow ourselves up in front of you. Well, good. Go ahead and blow yourself up.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.